Episode 12. Welcome to the Aligned and Thriving podcast for ambitious female entrepreneurs, where we align systems, strategies, and self for sustainable success. Hello, my name is Jada and I'm your host, and I cannot wait to dive into this week's episode. Let's get started. Let's dive into answering a question I hear frequently. That is, do I really have to run an event, whether that's going to be a live event or a recorded event, whether that is going to be a one-off class, a workshop, a webinar, a masterclass? All of those are quite a similar thing, by the way, just named differently. A boot camp, a coaching week, whatever it might be, the question around whether you really have to run some kind of event to sell into your online course, mastermind, membership, coaching container, or even one-on-one coaching. If this has ever been a question for you, stick around and let's dive into the whys, the hows, and both what I've learned through trial and error, through both digital business and bricks and mortar, as well as learning through the clients that I support and the online masterminds, courses, and memberships that I am a part of. Now, I've been an entrepreneur for around 15 years now through events, through bricks and mortar, service-based business, and through digital online business. I have supported clients in creating their first online courses and memberships, through to helping clients to scale their online offers from memberships, masterminds, and courses. And I'm actively always learning and surrounding myself with people who are way ahead of me, a few steps ahead of me, and on the same journey. Now, you might be hoping for a simple yes or no answer to this question. However, if you've been in my world for a while, you'll know that's just not my style, because I like to go beyond the, I guess, more generic kind of advice. And obviously in this platform, talking to lots of people, I can only kind of give generic advice or a variety of different options. However, it's really important to dig into what's right for you, for your business, for your offer, for your ideal client. And that's why I want to go a little bit deeper into the why behind having some kind of event to lead into opening the doors of your offer. And there are multiple really good reasons that you are advised and that it's a part of the strategies and formulas that you will see for launching, quote unquote. Launching is the promotional period into opening up your doors into whatever offer that you've got. Launching into it, whether it's the first time, the 10th time, the 27th time, to attract new people into your offers. So it really does depend a lot on what stage or phase of your offer development you're in. However, I want to dive into the reasons it works so well, because even if you don't run an event per se, or say a live event, whether that is a one-off class, a multi-day offering, whatever it might be, even if you don't run a live event, let's call it, you do need something to attract people into and lead people towards your main offering. So the big answer is yes, it's a really good idea to have something. It doesn't have to be live, however, and the what it is depends on the phase you're at in your offer. It also depends on the style of offer that you have. It depends on you and how you function best. And it also depends on, very largely, in fact, on your ideal audience and how they are going to most easily and most effectively learn from you and shift into being ready to join you in your main offer. Now, when I'm talking about not necessarily and dependent on the phase of where your offer is at, this is because when your offer is very, very new and it's maybe the first time you're opening the doors to it, or even the first, second, third times you're opening the doors to your offer, if you have an audience of people, which includes some people who are a match for your offer, and they already know you, and they already trust you, and they are already aware that you are good for your word and that you are really capable in the area that you're putting the offer out, then you won't necessarily need to go through the full process of leading people through to the event and then from the event selling into your offer. You can put your offer directly out to your warm audience. So this works really well. You don't necessarily need that event when you have a known audience, a warm audience, and you are opening the doors for the first, second, third time to your warm audience. You do, however, still need to be able to express and kind of nail that messaging so that they understand what it is and you create the desire for it. However, because you're already known in that space and there are people in your audience who already know you in that way and would be potentially keen to work with you, it's not necessary to go through all of those steps and have that live event. In fact, oftentimes that's just a whole lot more work and time and potentially confusion for your audience rather than just making it super simple by inviting them directly into your offering. So when it's new, it's a great idea to test out your messaging around it. And if you make that invitation and you don't get anybody joining, it's not necessarily that your offer is bad or isn't going to work or nobody wants it. It could be just that you haven't expressed it very well, or that it's not a match for the audience you're speaking to. Now, when we move towards wanting to attract a new audience, or when we've moved beyond having people within our current audience that are likely to be ready for our offer. So after we've done some testing and measuring and we've opened the doors to people who know us, how are we going to attract people into our offer, course, membership, mastermind, coaching container, whatever it is? And that's where the event comes into play in such a strong way. Because a big reason that people will buy from you is based on how much value they think they'll get after they buy it. And the easiest way to have them think they'll get a lot of value after they buy is to provide them with value before they buy. And so a live event, well, let me clarify here. Either a live event or some kind of recording or audio, something where you're going to give them value, is really important. Now, I hear people say, oh, I don't want to go to all the effort of doing a live event, a live launch. I know lots of people who are scaling their online businesses without that, and it seems so much easier. I also have people say, oh, I've been told that I need to do live launches first before I can go into evergreen. And look, most of the time I would recommend that also, but not always. So we always need to do a little bit of a check-in. But if we're talking about an event, let's just talk generally about either a live or a recording or an audio, for example, something that you're giving that is valuable, that is going to share the value that you can give people and give them an insight and a taste of the value that you're able to give them. Something that is going to help them feel ready for your offer. Something that is going to help them get to know you very quickly so that they can get a sense of your energy, because people aren't just buying what you're selling, they're buying who you are. They're buying into your energy. There are many people that do what you do, most likely, but not in the way you do. And so by putting out some kind of value-packed video, audio, series, or one-off or live event of some sort, you're able to share all of these aspects very quickly. You're also able to help them self-identify as to whether they are a match for your offer or not. And one of the really major things that your launch event, that your event prior to opening your doors needs to do is to help people shift into the belief that they can have the outcomes that your offer will give them, that they are the person who steps in and makes those changes, that they are deserving, that not only do they, I guess, intellectually understand that it's possible to do that because other people do, but they start to feel it's possible for them. So we really want to help people have that shift from I'd like to I can, I am, and I will. And that's what some kind of event will help them do when it's done well. This is a really essential part of the pre-opening of the doors process. However you might do that, as I said, via some kind of audio series, video series, one-off video, live series or event. And it's also one of the things that I often see is missing in that period before you actually make the invitation, especially when we're starting to make the invitation to a wider audience and we're wanting to scale and grow the numbers in our online offers. We need to get out to new people. So this episode is not so much about the essential inclusions for a launch event, but it's more around whether or not it's important. So as part of figuring this out for yourself, I want to ask you a question. Have you opened the doors into your membership course coaching container mastermind without any kind of event or video or series or whatever it might be? And how has that gone for you? Maybe you got numbers in to start with when you did a founding launch and the first couple of times, or maybe you're getting a few people in. Are you getting the numbers in that you would like to be getting when you open the doors? And if not, why is that? Now, there are many reasons that could be, but if you're not doing some kind of event, live or recorded, how are you showing the value that people are going to get? How are you attracting people into your world? How are you helping them feel ready? How are you having them self-identify as being the right person for your offer? How are you building the like, know, trust factor? This can be through some kind of lead magnet, opt-in, and then nurture sequence. Yes, you can absolutely do this through some kind of lead magnet and nurture sequence. This is why when I'm talking about some kind of event, it does not have to be a live event. But really, once you get past the stage of inviting people in that are a warm audience, who are already familiar with you, who are already aware that you're going to give them value, you've already built the like, no trust with, when you're going to move past that, you need to in some way do all of those things, and ideally in the quickest possible way, right, to lead them towards being ready to join your offer. So if you don't want to do a live event, how are you going to do all of these things? Are you going to do it through a lead magnet and nurture sequence? Are you going to do it through some kind of video that you have available for a short period of time in the lead up to opening your doors, or some kind of audio training or audio series, like a limited or special edition podcast that people have to opt into, or some kind of multi-part video series, or maybe even through some kind of limited edition, one-on-one short session with you. There's lots and lots of options, but you somehow need to provide value, meet people where they're at, and help them believe that they are ready for your offer. So have some kind of mindset shift, belief shift. You need to have them self-opt in to seeing themselves as a match for your offer. You need to have them experience you, your energy, how you present things, and the value that you're going to be able to give. You really want them to experience some great value from you. Don't be afraid of giving things away for free. It's not that you are not valuing yourself or your time. You are trying to show a new audience what you're able to do, how you're able to help them, what value they are going to get from you. You are building reciprocity where they have received so much great value from you that they want to give back in some way and connect. A live event specifically creates anticipation and excitement and a shared sense of looking forward to something, which also generates more community. When you do something live, you also start to build that community before people have even come fully into your offer, because they're able to see other people are interested. They're able to see other people commenting. They're able to see that there are other people interested who are just like them, who are maybe experiencing some of the similar things to them, as well as desiring some of the similar things to them. By creating either a recorded or live event, you're able to set yourself up as an authority in your space. And people do tend to follow people who are positioned as an authority. So when you are creating your own stage and putting on your own events, virtual or in person, you are setting yourself up on the stage. You don't need to be invited onto somebody else's. So when you are running these events, you are positioning yourself as an authority in your space. You're also building trust. This is talked about a lot, right? The like, no, trust factor. When we get on video or when people hear our voice through some kind of audio series or training that you might give, you build trust more quickly. They can hear and see you and your energy. So my overall answer is yes. It is a really good idea to have some kind of offering, whether it is a live event or a recorded training, workshop, series, whatever you might call it, to match what you're offering and your audience and the wording that connect, especially when you want to be reaching a new audience and really scaling and growing the numbers in your online offering. It doesn't have to be live. There is extra power in doing it live. However, again, you need to come back to what is going to be strongest for you, your offer, and your ideal audience. So how do you decide whether to run a live event of some sort, whether it's a one-off class of some sort or a multi-day thing, versus a recorded offering to lead into opening the doors for your offer? The biggest aspect of this I would suggest you lean into is making it a match for your ideal audience and where they're at when they're most ready to join your offering. Yes, you also want to consider what's a good match for your offering. How does your offering run? How are they going to be showing up for that? And kind of matching it in with your offer. Also, looking at yourself. How do you function best? I would just err a little bit of caution on this one, which is being careful that you're not deciding whether to do it live or recorded based on beliefs that you might have about yourself that may be just limiting beliefs. I have a lot of people say, oh, I just don't think I'm a webinar kind of person. And when I dig in deeper and ask a question of why they think that is, often they'll tell me things like, well, I'm really worried that nobody will show up live, or that I'll have somebody come on and ask challenging or difficult or uncomfortable questions, or, I don't like the sound of my voice, or I'm worried I'll trip over my words, or I'll lose my train of thought. Now, if you're having any of these worries, just know you're not alone. In fact, I would say just about every person, even all those really confident looking ones online, And successful people have had these thoughts and likely experienced all of these things. So please, if it's any of those types of things, don't let that hold you back from showing up live, because you're not alone. And these are really things we just have to move through. So just be careful when you're looking at live versus recorded, when you're looking at the you part. Is it really because of how you function best? Or maybe your season of life as well. Maybe you're in a season of life where it's really challenging for you to be able to set up and be available live at times that would be a match for your ideal clients because of life circumstances. Now, I would encourage you to look at how you can kind of get past that, what support you might be able to get. However, if that's really the case, then sure, do something recorded, because that's part of the season of life. But really just check in with the reasons you're giving yourself to see whether they're real or they're just kind of limiting beliefs or things that might be holding you back that you maybe just need to work through. But coming back to really basing this on what is going to be the biggest match for your ideal people. Are they a group of people who just need to be able to access this at a time that is going to suit them, whatever time that is, maybe even listen to it in bits and pieces? Or are they people who can show up live with you? We really want to make sure that we're matching this to our ideal people so that they can get the most out of it in the most efficient way, helping them to feel ready and move towards our offer. So the overall simpler answer to this question is yes, you need to have something recorded or live, seen as a lead magnet and nurture sequence, or as an event, or as a limited time series that you only have on offer just before you open your doors, whatever it might be. And there are many versions of this. If you want to be attracting new people into your offer. If you're not doing these things, you are reducing the number of people that you're attracting into your world and that you're attracting and leading towards your offer. Hopefully this has sparked some ideas for you. Hopefully it's given you some clarity. Maybe you're thinking, I was hoping you're going to say, no, I don't have to do some kind of event, Jada. Well, you don't necessarily have to do it live, but you do need to develop something that is going to lead people towards you if you want to reach new people. People buy from those people that they trust, that they like, and who they know they're going to get value from. So how are you going to help them know all of that about you? I'll leave that with you. If you would like help, support, guidance in creating an event, live or recorded, that is aligned with your offer, your ideal people, and you, so that it leads them towards your paid offer, reach out. I'd love to support you. And I'd also love to hear what your biggest takeaways were from this episode. Come over and have a chat with me on Instagram. Find me at Jada.businessmentor. And if you have any questions that have come up from this episode, I would absolutely love to hear from you also. I love questions and I love chatting all things aligned online business growth. Thanks so much for joining this week, and I look forward to sharing more with you on the podcast next week. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Aligned and Thriving podcast. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. I hope you're walking away with insights, inspiration, and something you can take action on right away. If you loved this episode, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a future one. And if you know a business bestie who would find this valuable, please send it their way, because thriving in business is even better when we do it together. I'd also love to hear your biggest takeaway. You can screenshot this episode, share it on Instagram, and tag me at Jada.businessmentor, or send me a DM so we can connect. Until next time, keep aligning, keep thriving, and I'll see you in the next episode.